Welcome to episode number 94. And in today's episode, I'm going to share with you 3 books that have made a huge impact on my life and my career. And I know if you were to read these things and follow the principles, your life too could be impacted and even better. It'll change your life. Stay tuned for those 3 books right now. So the big question is, how do ambitious people like us, who grew up listening to the old advice of go to school, work hard for 40 years, and retire when you're old, create a life today that is meaningful, abundant, healthy, and brings joy, while also leading a life that is productive and full of achievement? That is the question, and this is the podcast that will help give you the answers that you're searching for. My name is Del Denny, and welcome to the Upgrade Your Life podcast. Hey, my friends, this is Del Denny, and before we get into today's podcast, I wanted to ask you a question. Have you ever wondered what your purpose in life is? Or do you feel you're just going through the motions? Wake up, go to work, pay the bills, go to sleep, and repeat. Too many people are just going through the motions. Many people are feeling burned out, and many people are wondering if there's more to life than what's in front of them. And that's why I created a free audio training called How to Find Your Purpose. When you find out what your individual, unique purpose in life is, it'll change your life forever. Imagine waking up every day and feeling alive, happy, and vibrant because you know your purpose. Well, I've put together a free audio training for you, my friends, to help you find your purpose. It's a 4-step framework that'll help solve your individual, unique purpose in life. Inside this program, you'll also learn 8 strategies to live a more vibrant life. Head on over to deldenny.com and click free training at the top. That's deldenny.com and click free training, or you can look in the show notes of this podcast for the link as well. Now, without further ado, on to today's podcast. What's going on? Del Denny here, and just got out of hot yoga. I love hot yoga. My mind is clear, and it's a great way just to start your day. I love it. I've been doing it for about 3 or 4 times a week, and gosh, it gets my body in the right spot. But hey, this podcast today is not about hot yoga. No, this is about 3 books that will change your life. Now, as you know, I'm a huge reader. I love reading. Every book has changed my life in some way. There's always some nugget that I've pulled out. And so I'm going to give you 3 books that can change your life. Not the top 3, but 3 books that will change your life. Now, I love these books. They've been very impactful on me. I know that they'll be impactful on you. These are books that I have read more than once, and I have got a great deal of knowledge from them, and it's helped me personally and professionally. So here are 3 books that will change your life. Here's the first one. The first one is Essentialism: The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. That's by Greg McKeown. I think that's how you say his last name. I don't know. I don't know too much about the author. I just know this. The book is awesome. And, you know, this, if you've ever felt overworked or stretched too thin or always busy but not really productive, then this book is definitely a good read for you. Now, the reason being is because of this. You know, we have so many things that are required of us, right? If you think about like the 80-20 rule, for example, Pareto's law, you know, 80% of your productivity, I can't even say that right now, productiveness, gosh, I am struggling with that word. 80% of what your output is caused by just 20% of your input. That's kind of what it boils down to. So really, you think about your work life, you know, really there's like 20% of your work effort, actual work effort, produces 80% of the results. And that's the essential part. So you think about your commute to work, you know, that matters, but it doesn't really matter. It's when you get to work, you know, talking by the water cooler, that doesn't really matter. What talks is getting on the phone, calling a client, closing the deal, and that is your commission, right? So that little piece right there is actually what matters most at work. It's not everything else. It's just that 20%. And what this book is, what it's about, is being able to diagnose what actually matters, what is essential versus non-essential. And too many people get those things confused. A lot of people believe that busyness is productiveness, but that's not always the case. Just because we're busy doesn't mean that it's a good thing. And so this is about cutting the clutter that's in your life and really moving forward. And one of the big takeaways from the book for me, and I thought this was pretty cool, it talked about the Academy Awards or Oscars or whichever one it is. Anyways, whoever wins Best Picture, like whoever wins the best movie, well, there's another category too called the best editor. And 9 times out of 10, the movie that wins the best movie of the year also gets best editing. Now, it's pretty interesting because as a movie, they film so much. A 2-hour movie, they film a whole lot more than just 2 hours of tape, don't they? And so what happens is a great editor can take out what doesn't need to be in the storyline. There might be a scene that the director really, really wants and was proud about, but if it doesn't add to the bottom line, if it doesn't add to the story, they cut it out and they make it as seamless as possible. And that's in essence what we have to do with our life, is we have to be able to really cut out all the stuff that doesn't matter and say, hey, what's essential in my life? What's essential at work? What's essential in the mornings? And everything else you cut out. And so it's a great way, it's a great book to really identify those things and really, put first things first, so to speak. So that's the first book, Essentialism. Now, the second book, I really love this book. It's by one of my favorite gurus out there, Brendon Burchard. I really like Brendon's stuff, and he has a book called High Performance Habits. The full headline is High Performance Habits, How Extraordinary People Become That Way. And this is a phenomenal book, and it breaks down 6 habits that high performers have. The first habit is seeking clarity, getting clear on what you exactly want. Second habit is to generate energy. Too many times we feel sluggish, we feel struggling to get out of bed. High performers, they know how to generate energy, not just to have energy, but to generate energy. The third one is to raise necessity. It's about, prioritizing. It's about getting things done. It's about, I do this because of my wife and kids. I do this because, my team depends on me. The reason why you put yourself out on the line is because of necessity. The fourth habit is increased productivity. It's about different productivity hacks. High performance people are very high performing because they know how to be productive. Not busy, but productive. The fifth habit is develop influence. How do you persuade people? Number 6 is to demonstrate courage. It's about having true courage. And great read. If you really want to be a high performer, I highly recommend this. It's a pretty long read. If you do the Audible, I think it's over 10 hours, but this is definitely a good deep dive into what makes high performers tick. Now, here's the third book. Let's get into the third book. It's the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Now, I don't know if you like Grant Cardone or not. You kind of have to take him in moderation a little bit because he's pretty intense. But this book is really, really good. It's basically about goal setting and about 10xing or 10 times what your goal should be. And the whole thing is just thinking bigger. We hear it all the time. You got to think bigger. You have to think bigger. Well, how do we think bigger? Well, whatever goal that you have, multiply that by 10. That's really should be your goal. You should stretch yourself. It's all about stretch goals. If your goal is to make $100,000, well, why not $1 million? Because the same effort that it takes to hit one goal is usually the same effort it takes to hit another. And so this is a really good one. This will stretch you and make you think a little bit bigger. The problem is we always minimize our efforts, our value, our worth. And this is about multiplying that. It's saying, hey, no, you're actually worth not that, but you're worth this. And so it's about accomplishing bigger and better things. Highly recommend it, The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. So those are 3 books that can definitely change your life. Well, why is that? Because the first book talks about cutting the clutter. It talks about stop being busy. The second book talks about the right habits that you need in your life. The third one is about setting really big goals. So imagine this. Imagine if you were to cut the stuff out that doesn't matter, create healthier habits, and set better goals. Do you think your life would be better? Abso-freaking-lutely. And so those books I know can help change your life. And let me know, what books have changed your life? Send me a DM on Instagram. Let me know what books have made an impact in your life. I'd love to know. So this is Del Denny signing off. Remember, learn, lead, and live to your full potential. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes to get automatic episode updates for the Upgrade Your Life podcast. And finally, please take a minute to leave us an honest review and rating on iTunes. Your feedback really helps us out when it comes to the ranking of the show, and I make it a point to read every single one of the reviews that we get. So thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me on the Upgrade Your Life podcast. Have a great day.